Hello everybody and welcome to episode 82 of the This Old Knit podcast, Crazy Hair Edition. I'm your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest. And you can find show notes for this episode on the episode thread of the This Old Knit podcast group in Ravelry. So hi everybody! It's been 3 weeks, not intentional. Last week, what is that? What is sticking out of my head? It is Crazy Hair Edition. I feel like Karen from Will and Grace, and I'm gonna have a weird glare on my glasses. Sorry. I won't be able to see you, but I could do that. So anyway, I was going to podcast last week, but Megwin asked me to do a tea party. So we did a tea party instead. And then that took up all of my time while everyone was at the gym. Frankly, it was probably better anyway because I was sick that prior week. So I didn't have a voice. And this top is not playing nice. And I feel like I'm not centered in the frame. I know I am. For the camera I'm centered, but for the phone itself I'm actually not. I'm using my front facing camera because I tried to use my rear facing camera and it kept recording sideways and it wouldn't flip. I don't know what was going on with that. So anyway, yeah. I was sick, I had no voice, Megan wanted to do a tea party, so we did a tea party. So here I am this week. But I do have a lot of things to share with you. I have several FOs, and I don't think any of them are knitting related. They are sewing and cross stitch. I had very lovely show notes written out, and I left them at work. I did them at lunchtime, and yeah, I don't have them. Let's talk about my sheepy mug. So the David's Tea store opened near me, which I have been anticipating for months and months, and I was so excited. And yesterday I went after work because I didn't want to have the kids with me, and I checked it out. So it is a scoop store, which means that you can get the loose leaf tea and you can take your tins in and get them filled up, or they will give you tins there. Because I had not planned on stopping there when I left for work that morning, I did not have my tins with me, but that's fine because I got a lot of really cute Halloween tins. I didn't bring any of them upstairs to show you, but I will show you next time. So what I did get is the temperature color changing sheep mug. So here it is. It is color changed right now. These are normally black sheep when it's not hot, but when it gets warm, they turn to white and yellow with flowers, and then the one on the back is yellow plaid. So, I mean, yeah, I kind of had to, because they're yellow. They're cute yellow sheepies. What? And I'm enjoying some mudslide tea, which oddly I found up in the cabinet. So I think my husband probably moved it to get it away from Joshua because he loves loose leaf tea. Joshua, the alternate media artist, enjoys creating art with loose leaf tea leaves, and I'm sure my husband didn't want him to ruin my good David's tea, so he moved it up to a really high shelf. However, that means that for me it stops existing because I can't see those shelves. So I happened to be up there for the tea party grabbing our nicer glass dishes to put things in, and I saw that there were 2 bags of unopened David's tea up there. One was raspberry ice and one was mudslide. Those were part of the cocktails collection that they did over the summer. They're both amazing, but sadly they don't have them anymore. So mudslide, and it is yummy. It's really cold up in the nook too. So I will go ahead and talk about FOs first. Like I said, the first one is my Cocoa Top. Yay! It has seen some wear, so I actually need to wash it, but I didn't want to wash it last night and then not have it show to you guys today. So this is the Cocoa Top by Tilly and the Buttons. My plan is to sew this into the dress version with my sushi fabric. However, I wanted to do a muslin, and so the only way to do a muslin that I could think of with jersey fabric was to use other jersey fabric, because it's going to behave really differently than muslin fabric would. It's going to drape differently, etc. So I had this Doodles fabric from Joann's. It's got little pine trees on it. I've shown it to you all before when I bought it, but I bought it actually with the intent of making a top version as my muslin, and then I was going to cut into the sushi fabric. So glad I did, because the sizing on Coco is extremely generous. I picked out the size that fit my bust, so that's a size 5 in the pattern, and I did not change it for the bottom. And I think that I probably, for the waist and below, should have gone down 2 pattern sizes to the size 3. So when I sewed it up, remember last episode, I said that the pieces seemed really huge. They were. When I sewed it up, it was very billowy. I mean, it fit, but it was not the kind of fit that I typically wear. So I took it and I took in on the sleeves. I actually took almost 2 inches in off of the sleeves because they were just hanging. So I did that on both sides, and then I kept the bust measurement the same, and I actually just tapered down from the waist. So I did one set of, I think, 5/8 inch, and that wasn't enough. So I actually went back and added another 1/2 inch of inward seaming, and I trimmed, and then I try it on, I trim again, I try it on. And when I felt pretty happy with it, I went ahead and put in the vents on the bottom. So I'm going to stand up so I can show you, which is always hard to do in the Nook. So it's still a little bit loose, but that's okay. It's fine. So on the sides, it's got this little detailing. And you can see, like, I could even have gone in a little bit more and still been okay. So, like, here's my actual body. So I could have gone in even more. I probably wouldn't go in that much, but maybe that much. So, like I said, I think if I were to have this as a dress, I would not like it being this big, because I wouldn't have the pants to then offset the shaping, because when I'm wearing jeans, it's fine. It looks like, okay, well, you have a loose shirt on. But I think if I were just to have it on as a dress, it would just look like I was really big, and that's not what I'm going for. I omitted the pocket because I wanted to wear this as a more dressy shirt for work. So I didn't think having I think the little pocket on it is cute, but it makes it a little more casual. So I have, let me come closer so you can see the print. See those cute little trees? They're like little doodled pine trees. So anyway, I like it. I'm happy with how it turned out. I do feel like the neckline is just a little bit wide because I'm struggling during the day with keeping my bra straps hidden at work, which is never a fun thing to be doing. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know how I would adjust for that if I were to do it again. Maybe I would do the 4 on the neck, like the inner part, but leave the 5 for everywhere else, because I do have very broad shoulders. So the actual shoulder seams themselves, I feel really happy with where they went. So I don't know. I'm going to play around with it. I have some narwhal fabric that I want to make one out of that'll be a more casual one. And then, of course, I have the sushi fabric, which I have enough to make a dress and a shirt for Megwin and potentially another top for me. But I was thinking I would do the Agnes top with that one. So I also have enough of this to probably do a shirt for my Gwen or an Agnes top for me. So I may use this again as the muslin for the Agnes top, and then I would just have two different types of shirt with the same fabric. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing for this podcast because I still have a lot of coughing that I'm doing. So that is my Cocoa top. The pattern is well written. The instructions were really simple to follow. And this was my first time that I remember sewing with knit fabric. So it went pretty well overall, I think. Yeah, so that's that. I did not bother to clean the Nook before I started podcasting, because if I did that, I would not have podcast today. And I am rocking on colored pencils that my children left on the floor everywhere. I will try not to break any more colored pencils. I will try really hard. So my second finished object is an idea that I had when I was talking to my husband. So we were talking about paper towels, because we're awesome like that. We talk about all kinds of stuff. But we were talking about, wouldn't it be nice if we had something that was more durable than paper towels for using in the kitchen, but that you could still take and throw in the wash. So we have towels, obviously, that we have hung up, and we use them quite a lot. So we use them for drying our hands, wiping things up off the counter, etc. But that doesn't really help with kid messes. So I had the idea of, what if I made a paperless paper towel and had something where you could have a smaller towel and snap them together on either end so that you could unsnap and have them in a, you could still have them in a roll, so you would have them in a roll around like a dowel or paper towel tube. So we have a metal paper towel holder that's installed on the side of our cabinets next to our sink in the kitchen. My husband installed it when we moved in so that it was more durable than one sitting on the counter, and it was out of the way because counter space. So I thought, well, if you had towels that you could still roll and use that thing, they'd be up and out of the way. You'd be able to just take off the one you want and wash them. And if you had like 3 of those roll amounts of paper towels, paperless paper towels, then when you finish one, you could have one in the drawer ready to go, one on the roll, and one in the wash. So anyway, long story. I started those. So on one side, I'm actually doing flannel, and on the other side, I did towel material. Terry cloth, I think is what that's called. I'm gonna move closer because I'm really far back. Okay, so I found a really cute flannel that's got coffee on it. So various different coffee cups, mugs, teacups, spoons, etc. I thought this would be good because it looks kind of kitcheny and it won't look really gross as you use them over the years. They're probably going to get a little janky. So I think this one won't be as bad for that. And then I have just a plain brown terry cloth towel material. They're really straightforward. I just cut the squares and then sewed them together on 3 sides, flipped them the other way, and then I seamed the final side with a little zigzag stitch. I was not trying to be fancy or hide my stitches or anything like that. I actually had white thread already on the machine and I was lazy. I wanted to get them done quickly. So I've done 3 of them, And this one, actually, I did the seam allowances a little bit bigger than I think I want to do going forward. So this one is a lot larger. Let me line it up so you can see. See how much extra. I think I was using a 1/2 inch seam allowance here, and here I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, which I think is better because more surface area. And what I did is I used an actual paper towel as my final measurement I wanted to get to, and I added a 1/2 inch extra seam allowance all around. So I made a template out of cardboard that I'm going to use for cutting them all out. I think I cut out 6 just to test out it's a proof of concept. And I bought a set of snap pliers and little snaps. I'm using the ones that you can get at Joann's for reusable diapers, which we also used for both of our children. So we bought them though. I did not make them. But it's for that kit. I think it's called Baby Boutique or something like that. But they had a lot of nice colorful snaps. So I figured later if I wanted to add snaps to other projects, then I would be able to have some different choices of colors. I'm going to use white snaps for these though, because it'll be easy to see them and I'll be able to see if they're starting to wear out, and then I can just pop new ones on there. So that is my second finished object. Finished objects. My third finished object is cross stitch. So I finished my Halloween town. Eee. So here it is. All the back stitching is done. It's washed. I just need to sew it into a project bag. I love how it turned out. They're so cute. I love it. I especially love Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. Their little faces are so sweet. So this is the Halloween Town by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It actually had underneath a little block that said Halloween Town on it, and then it had a bunch of little like keys, owls, other bats. I'm gonna take my hair down because I feel like I have a weird shaped head right now. I'm sorry. I can't handle it. I don't have a weird shaped head, but with the lighting and stuff, it's making it look like I have like quite light brown hair, but it looks really, really dark when I do these podcasts because of the terrible, terrible lighting. So yeah, that is Halloween Town by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and as I said, I'm going to sew it onto a project bag. Weird. I'm going to pause because I need to go get a tissue. Okay, I'm back. Oh, I feel so much better. I can breathe. So those are all of my finished objects. And then I have a bunch of partial objects. No, I have one more finished object. I lied. And it also is sewing. I didn't send it out. This is the prize for the Random Fandoms Cal that Harkness Angels won. She requested a Harry Potter inspired project bag, so I completed that for her. I only had heavyweight interfacing, so it's pretty stiff, but I think that's actually kind of nice because it's gonna sit very nicely on a table and it will stay open for working on your project. So you can see it's really, really stiff. So I added a gray ribbon handle, and this is various newsprint. And I believe that this fabric is actually from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Here's the other side. can see on this side, it's the New York Ghost Enchanted Dispatches to the American Wizard. And then on the bottom, I used this really fun fabric that's like the dark arts. So it's got He Who Must Not Be Named, Mors Mordra, the Dark Mark, Lord Voldemort. So I really liked those two together. And then on the inside, I screwed up on the zipper. I just sewed a little bit close, so my apologies. It does stick a teeny tiny bit there. I think with wearing or with, you know, zipping, unzipping, that's gonna work itself out. I hope. I'm not a professional bag maker, so, you know, you get what you get. On the inside, I did this nice kind of tie-dye blue. It reminds me of a sky. So it made me think of in Hogwarts where the ceiling mimics the sky outside. So anyway, there's the bag that I sewed for her. And I'm going to pop that in the mail today. So hopefully it will come. Everybody who's expecting a package from me, I am putting them all together today, other than Anna Knitters, because we agreed that as long as we put it in the post by November 1st, that was fine. And I still need to wind her minis. I'm working on it. So this will go in the mail, and I have a couple of other people that I did like swaps with and stuff. So those will hopefully all go in the mail today. The one for Canada, I'll pack it up, but I think I have to do that on Monday because the post office closes at noon today, and I actually need a person for that. I can't use the automated teller thingy. So that's my bag. And then at the same time, I cut out a bag for myself, which is going to be a large sweater bag. Hopefully for worsted weight sweaters, because when I do fingering weight sweaters, they're typically fine in kind of this size of bag. Although my Star Wars sweater, which is in this one, I actually can't have all the yarn for it in here because it's 6 skeins of yarn, because it's a so faded. So I'm, you know, fading with the other colors. So I only have the 2 that I'm working on at the time in here, and the rest of them I'm not keeping in here. So my thought was if I had a larger bag, I could actually keep all of the yarns that go with it, especially for a worsted weight sweater, which I want to do very soon. So this is the inside fabric. Again, you can see how stiff this is. It's crazy. So I used that same Dark Mark solid fabric. These are completely different sizes. Dear God, Nina, you are a nut. I have issues, seriously, but seam allowances make up for everything. So because this was a fat quarter, I actually didn't have enough to make this huge of a bag. I originally wanted this to be the lining for this bag, but I screwed up when I cut it. But as you can see, these are totally different sizes. So I was like, it'll be a bag for me. I don't care. So I've got that dark color for the top, and then the purple for the bottom of the inside. And my outside is exactly the same as the one that I made for her. It's that same fabric. This is obviously a different part of the fabric. And the bottom is the Dark Mark, Dark Wizards thing. I again will do the gray handle for it, and I'm hoping I will get this sewn up today so that I will have a fun Halloweeny bag to use for the rest of the month. So that's a sewing whip. And then now we're to the knitting content. For those of you who aren't interested in sewing, I'm sorry that I did so much sewing. And I'm going to do more. I have more sewing whips, but haven't worked on them in a while. Now I have things so I can't get my hand in there. Okay. Using my children's dollhouse for my cup table, cup holder. Alright, so I have a hoe. This is my Witch's Brew sock. So I'm doing an informal knit along with Disa of Disa's Craftwork and Annie Knitter from Instagram. We all have the same yarn and we're all kind of doing our own pattern, but we're knitting them all at the same time. So I knit this into the Blueberry Waffles pattern, which is a free pattern. It's just a knit 2 plain rows, knit 2 purl 2 rows. But it makes a very nice texture. I like it on the Felici. This is Knit Picks Felici in the Witch's Brew colorway. I did the heel and toe in Patton's Croy in the charcoal colorway. I did 18 stitches, or 18 picked up stitches on my heel flap, and I feel like it probably should have been 16 because it's a little bit loose around that part, but that's okay. In general, it's fine. I also went all the way down till I got to the black stripe again to try and make it more cohesive, but that meant that I had to do a very short and kind of blocky toe. That's okay, I have kind of blocky toes. So it's more blocky than I usually do though. I usually knit until I have 10 stitches on either side of the toe, and this is 14. So it's definitely more of a square-ish toe. But I really like it. So I went ahead and cast on the second one last night. This is what I have left of my first ball. Usually I would not have this much left of a Felici ball after doing a sock, but I think because I did contrasting heel and toe, I ended up with more, and it was enough that I wanted to just knit out on this one and then start the next ball. So I wound off a little nugget until I got to this roughly the same place, so I started on the same color at least. I've finished my cuff and I am one stripe in on my socks. So those are going pretty well. We'll see if I have them done for Halloween or not. I'm not in any huge hurry because while they are Halloween themed, I think that these colors are in general pretty standard colors. So you could wear them year round. And that's in my lovely bag by Slipped Stitch Studios. That came in the Pandia's Jewels kit. Whip number 1. And then whip number 2, I don't think I've shown on the podcast yet. I started it a couple of weeks ago. If you guys have been watching for a while, you will know that I had started a shawl for Megwin. It was the Boneyard shawl by Stephen West, and I was knitting it out of Knit Picks Chroma in the Buttermints colorway. So that's this guy. It is just lots of pastel colors, so pink, coral, pale yellow, and mint green. And I had roughly 1 skein. It wasn't quite a skein. Knit into it. So Megwin has a shawl. She stole my shawl that I knit out of Woolen Vine Yarns Blitzed in Space Wizard, which is a one-of-kind colorway. And she likes it, and it's a single skein shawl, which are really kind of small for me, so I was okay with her having it. and she just wants to wear that shawl all the time. So I didn't really see a need to have another shawl for her, other than, I guess, just to have a backup for if she forgets it at school. But I could do that with any yarn. So I frogged it, and I instead cast on for her Christmas sweater. So I decided I wanted to make a sew faded pint size for her, but I'm not doing any fading because Chroma already is a gradient, so it does its own fading. So I'm this far along, and I will bring it closer. So it is essentially the same pattern as the sew faded, but pint sized. You knit it exactly the same way. And it does not have any shaping, but the sew faded actually doesn't have any shaping either. I'm adding some, but I'm doing that on my own. I really love these colors, and I think they're going to be just gorgeous on Megwin. With her blonde hair and blue eyes, she looks really good in pastels. She loves it. She keeps asking me when her sweater's going to be done. And I have about 2 more inches to do on the body, and then I'm going to start the ribbing. I'll do about 2 inches of ribbing. And then the sleeves. So this is all out of one skein of the Chroma. I'm happy that I frogged the shawl because I think she's going to get a lot more wear out of this sweater. And look at how much I have left. So I'm definitely going to finish the body with the first skein, and then I will do the sleeves with the second skein. And I guess then I'll have most of another skein to do something else. I don't know. I think it would make a pretty hat. So maybe I'll make her a hat to match it. So that's my second whip. I'll go ahead and show my sew faded since we are on that topic. So my sew faded, I had actually added in a bunch of shaping. I think I was doing every 5 rows. So I got pretty far down and I tried it on, and I realized that I started the shaping too soon. So I wasn't at the fullest part of my bust yet, and so it started like squeezing in at this point. I didn't want that. So I ripped it back and I knit probably another 2 inches. And then I started shaping again. I'm also doing much more gradual shaping, and I'm not going to do a whole lot because I don't want this to be super fitted, but I just wanted it to come in just a tiny bit. So I'm doing every 7 rows, I think. Pretty sure. I'm matching the honey sweater's rate of decreases. What is it with me and stopping in the middle of the front? I'm in exactly the same place on this one. Apparently that's where I like to stop knitting, is in the middle of the front, so that it's impossible to show you. It's fun. Okay, so this is my Star Wars themed sew faded sweater. It's a little bit weird that it did that strange pooling on the front. I wasn't really happy with that, but it is what it is. That's just kind of how it worked out. And once I started fading in the 3rd color, it kind of smoothed that out a little bit. It's sort of cool though. It looks kind of like Fair Isle-y. Yeah. I think once I have the whole thing, it's going to be really neat. So the first color, or sorry, this is a Pandia's Jewels set. The first color is Tried to Rescue My Boyfriend, Ended Up a Slave Girl on Tatooine. The second color is 1 in a Million Shots, Still Crash Lands on Dagobah. And the third color is You're My Only Hope. And I'm purely on the You're My Only Hope now. Let me go to the back so you can actually see it a little bit better. And this one's striping normally, so I don't know what it was with this one. That's the only one that flashed like that. Everything else is just fading so nicely. It's not as pronounced in person. I think on the camera it just really accentuates those little things. It makes it look like weird arrows. But I don't mind it in person. So that's my So Faded sweater. Yeah. I'm thinking about it now. Looking at it, I'm like, do I like it? Or do I want to rip back and try and fix that? Sometimes all it takes is like cutting a tiny bit of the yarn and then it gets rid of all of that for you. Well, I need to think about that a little bit. Because if I don't want that, that's a lot of ripping I gotta do. Okay. That's my Star Wars So Faded. And then my next whip is also a new cast on. So I cast on for my pumpkin spice mittens, which is a pattern by Ellie of the Skandir Knits podcast. I don't know why I let that float be so long. Oh, that's 5 stitches. Okay. It's the longest I would do on a float. And I just started the color work pattern. Like, I think I only did 1 row of it because of some of the other projects that I'm working on too. So here's my little cuff. I'm having a lot of fun with this yarn. This is the Tuku wool. It's a Finnish natural wool. It's very sticky, which is super nice for color work. It's grabbing the fibers very nicely. It makes it very easy to do the floats and all of that jazzy jazz. So you can see there's some stuff going on, but it's not very exciting right now. It kind of looks like a sock. My 2 colors are numbers, so I'm not gonna remember what they are. Oh, the pumpkin colored one is H21. Repo. I don't have the tag in here for the cream colored one. I think it's Sake. There's the cream. And here's the pumpkin-y color. I believe I did 2.5 millimeter needles for the cuff, and then I switched to 2.75 millimeter needles for the actual color work, since it's gonna, you know, suck in a little bit. I really want to get more of this Tuku wool. There's a mauve color that's super pretty, but it's been sold out for a while on the Woolly Thistle website, so I haven't been able to grab it. I threw my little key progress keeper on here from Melody, the Melody Crochets podcast. And this bag is one that Kristen sent to me in one of our little swap packages that we do with each other. And let's see what's in this guy. Oh, yeah. So, I am test knitting the Half Moon Oracle, which I am super excited about. Oh, now you can see my sheep are black again. Black sheep, because my tea's getting cold. It's still lukewarm, but I would not call it hot by any stretch of the imagination. So I am test knitting the Half Moon Oracle for Kristen which I am so privileged to do, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And because it is not knit in the round, it's a very different knit than the in the round. Brioche that's knit flat is knit in a completely different way than in the round brioche. So it's a lot of fun. I'm having a good time with checking that out, and I decided with this one that I wanted to make it a more neutral shawl that's going to match a lot of my wardrobe, because for a while I've been wanting to make a black, gray, and red shawl. I wear a lot of black and gray and accenting with red. A ton of my wardrobe is black and red and gray. So I was like, I really should have a shawl to match that. So Kristen offered to provide yarn support, which is wonderful, and she's very sweet to do that. I am actually using some yarn from my stash. One, because I wanted to get started right away and I was so excited, and two, because she hasn't dyed this colorway in a long time and I wanted to use this one. So she's giving me two other skeins, but this one is just from my stash. So this is Poe on the Volca base. It's a really gorgeous luminous gray that has lavender undertones, I would say. It's really pretty. So I've had that one in my stash for a while, and it's funny, I've considered it for quite a few projects and I've always been like, no, this isn't the one. This isn't the one. And I'm glad that I waited, because this project is the one. And then I stole this one from my quill shawl because I had not yet got my yarn from Kristen and I didn't want to wait. So this is Grimm on her blitzed base, but it has gold stellina instead of silver stellina is what her normal blitzed base has. Oh yeah, you can see the sparkles. Oh my gosh. Can you see the beautiful golden sparkles? Isn't that so pretty? So this is a deep charcoal gray is what Grimm is. It is not black, but it's a dark enough gray that it looks black. Oh, I love it. And it has to be on Sparkle. If you get this and you get it on Sparkle, I mean, you have to. Because look at that. Anyway. So my other third color will be Mexican Hot Chocolate, which has also been on my must acquire list for a while. So I'm kind of excited that I'm going to use it in my shawl. And so I am up to the point where I will add in my third color. So I'm just waiting on the yarn to get here. So here it is. So I started with the Poe, and then like I said, I got impatient and I stole my Sparkly Grimm from my quill shawl, which is fine. She's sending me a skein of Sparkly Grimm, so I will replace it in my quill shawl, which is just in hibernation. I still want to knit it, but I just have a case of the Ooh Shinies. And so I haven't got to it yet. And I sort of was in a sweater mode, so I wasn't feeling the shawls for a little while because I did a lot of shawls there. So I went a little break. So I've done the brioche section and the lace, first lace section. And I love how it's turning out. It's so pretty. It's going to be exactly as I pictured it. That beautiful, neutral, that's going to go with everything shawl. Kind of fancy and dressy. And I love it. So that is the Half Moon Oracle test knit. And I believe she's aiming to have that pattern come out November 1st. So I think what I might do is I might do a giveaway on the podcast when it comes out. I will gift someone a copy of the pattern. So I will open a thread for that when the time is closer, when it's actually released. And I can buy it to give to one of you. because you should knit the shawl. It's so fun. I very rarely knit the same thing twice, but I'm having just as much fun this time around. Okay, that might be, nope, I'm a liar. Not the last thing. So in my Rainbow Llama Corn bag from Pandia's Jewels, this is one of my favorite bags, and I'm actually going to use it to draft another bag for me. It's wet on the bottom because Joshua spilled a cup of water on my bedside table this morning, and this was sitting on my bedside table. So I have been at night knitting on my glittery blanket of unicorns and magic, or the Gibbum. And this bag was specifically purchased for the Gibbum. So whenever you see this bag, you will know that that is what I'm working on. Just a little bit every night. Oh, and of course, I had to add the Unicorn Progress Keeper that Kristen gifted to me a couple years ago at this point. Year and a half ago, maybe? Okay, kind of a mess in here right now. Alright, and right now I have only Yarn at Home Mom yarns on here. These are all my Gilmore Girls themed yarns. I bought all 3 packs that she did of them, and then she did a special one too for A Year in the Life, and I haven't dipped into those yet because they're a little bit larger. So my thought is that I will add those when my blanket's bigger, because I'll need more to go around partially in the blanket. So I restarted this. If you all used to watch a while ago, ooh, I do have one that's not Yarn at Home Mom. I had one started before and I really didn't like it. So early on I had made a color choice of adding in a cream color, like a solid cream color from my Miss Dashwood shawl, and it was too bright. Like, it just made my eyes were just drawn to this white square in the middle of it, and that was not what I wanted it to be at all. So I just recast it on and started again. So I've knit a little bit off of that one, but I'm being more mindful this time of how I'm picking colors. I want them to fade into one another a little bit more, and I'm also thinking about how they're going to land next to the other color to make sure that I don't have anything where it's just a really stark color choice like that. So this is another 10-stitch blanket, the pattern by Frankie Brown. I love them. They're so fun to knit. And this is a fingering weight version. My other one is a worsted weight version. So I'll bring it closer. So the center color is, was it 1,000 Yellow Daisies or something like that? And then this one is a Kingfisher color. This a viewer sent me. It's her hand-dyed yarn, but she doesn't actually sell yarn. But it's really pretty. It's a beautiful color. So I thought it picked up some of those blues and stuff nicely, and then it also transitioned well into the brown. This one is Copper Boom. And then I don't remember what this one is. It's brown with a purple in it. Plummy purple. And that transitions over into this more purpley and blue purple, but still, like I said, I think it blends well together. And it goes to this one, which I think is Rory. And then I'm now in this blue color here. And that one is Luke Danes. So I'm thinking that I need to get out of this blue family now, because I've got a lot of purples and blues. So what I think I'm going to do next is a little mini that I got from Kristen with my very first order of Wool and Vine yarns. And if I didn't mention, these are all glitter yarns. I'm only going to use sparkle yarns in this blanket. So I have my beekeeper's quilt that's just everything, all my scraps. But this one will only be for my sparkle yarn leftovers or sparkle yarn minis that I get from swaps. I haven't done a mini skein swap in quite a while, but like I said, Anna Knitter and I will be doing an Advent swap with each other. So maybe I'll get some sparkle minis there. So I think I'm going to do this one, and then I will transition into mauves, because of course it's a Kristen yarn, so it has mauves in it. This is Reflector. And this has silver stellina, not gold. So I will have both gold and silver stellina. And then I'm thinking that I will go to maybe this one. This one is from Rainbow Ange. We did a little, or she sent me some stuff. Just a bunch of sparkle minis for my Gibbum. And this one I really love. It's just a nice, subtle, ladylike pink. And then I have lots of pink ones that I can use in here. So this whole bag is full of fun minis. I've got, I think this one is another Kristen one. I believe this is Enjoy the Silence. Old school Enjoy the Silence, because she had to change it. And I think her dye supplier doesn't make one of the colors or something anymore. I also have this one, which is kind of a more muted mauve color. This is one of my Yarn at Home Mom ones. And then this one I think is Suki St. James. Again, Yarn at Home Mom. So that's getting a little more into the raspberry. And yeah, I've got, like I said, a lot of sparkle yarns in here. So I can definitely knit on this thing for days and days. And I bought these needles specifically just for the Gibbum as well. So this is a set of Knitter's Pride wooden needles, and they are 2.75 millimeter, but I liked that they were pink. And I've got a pack of 5 because they were a sock needle set. So if I lose one, I have extras, which is nice. I think I bought them off Handsome Fibers. They were one of the only sites that had, I think they had free shipping. And I was just looking for needles at the time. And I didn't want to pay more for the shipping than the needles cost. So that is my glittery blanket of unicorns and magic, or Gibbum. Oh, and that is everything I've been working on. It's a lot. When I was sick, I have a really hard time focusing when I'm sick, so I kind of just vacillate between projects. Whatever I feel like knitting on when I'm like, I don't even want to do anything, I would just pick up something and knit a couple of rows on it, and then I'd put it back down. I need more tea. Warm tea. Okay, so that brings me to acquisitions and future project ideas. So you know what, I'm going to put on my shawl. I'm really cold, guys. Cold, cold, cold. It's cold up here. And I love it. I do not want that to be construed as complaining because, oh my gosh, I want it to be fall. Like real fall, not faux fall. Real fall. With like fall temperatures where I need to wear a shawl and long sleeves and a jacket, fingerless mitts, you know, stuff. This is my Snow Melt shawl by Helen Stewart, which I think I shared last time because I finally blocked it. But it's so warm. I love it. Okay. So acquisitions, I has some. First thing I got is some fabric. I have weird scraps from my other bag in here. Hang on a second. Okay. So I went to Joann's to get something. Oh, stuff for the towels. And of course, I look around every time I'm at Joann's because there could be something new and cute. And I found this. So it is mauve fabric with little Star Wars eggs. It's so adorable. So I think I might sew a sweater bag out of this to put my Star Wars themed So Faded in, because it's going to take me a while to finish that. And I love Star Wars. Plus it's so cute. Oh my god, the chewy one is my favorite. Let me turn it up so you can see its cute little nose. Oh my god. I love him. So sweet. And the R2 one, the C-3PO. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I got a yard of that. And then I found the sushi in flannel. It's so amazing. It was not very soft when I bought it, but I washed it and dried it and it fluffed up so much. So it is super soft now. And when I shared this on Instagram, one of my friends from the Itty Bitty Knits group, Heather, who is Mommy to 5 on Instagram, messaged me and said, could you possibly find some for me, for my daughter? And I said, yeah, sure, I can go look for it. And I have been looking for it, and I hadn't been able to find it. And then yesterday, I stopped at Joann's on my way home. No. Was it yesterday? It was Thursday. Thursday, I stopped at Joann's on my way home, and they had 2 yards of it. So I bought it for her. So that's one of the packages I have to send out. But yeah, I love it so much, guys. I got 3 yards, so hopefully I will be able to make some PJ pants for me and maybe some little PJ pants for Meglin, because she doesn't have a lot of pajamas right now. She needs more. She has like one nightgown, I think, that fits her. And then she kind of makes do with like her normal leggings that she wears all the time and t-shirts. But it would be nice if she had something a little bit warm and toasty for winter. And then also at Joann's, when I got these, or it might have been a different time, they were having a sale on their Halloween and fall fabric. Ooh, interfacing is so fascinating. It's not. So it was $1.99 a yard. So I got a yard of a whole bunch of different stuff to make some Halloween and fall themed bags. I'm going to get this crap out because it is really crinkly and I'm sorry. Okay. Got some denim needles for my husband. He's making a bag for someone. And then I got this fun little orange spiders fabric. That's going to be for a lining. Wow, that looks like neon orange. And I got it to match this one. Oh my god. Look at it. It's R2-D2 dressed up in all these different cute costumes. Isn't that just the sweetest? He's a witch. He's got bats. He's got spiders. He's got a pumpkin. He's got crazy things. All the things. $1.99. Plus then I had a 20% off everything coupon. So I couldn't not get it. So I'm going to do this with this. So I think I'm just going to have this on the outside and then this will be my lining. It'll just be plain. Kind of like the, that's the one I'm going to make with this sizing in mind. So it'll be about this size. But it'll be that fabric with this. And so I got an orange zipper. They only had one. I actually needed 2 because I'm going to also make a fall bag out of the other ones that won't be Halloween themed, but it'll be more broadly fall themed, so I'll be able to use it through the Christmas season. But yeah, they only had 1 orange zipper, which was disappointing. So I may need to order another one off Amazon, and it was a 22-incher, which was way bigger than I needed. But whatever, it's fine. It was on sale. And then I got this will be my more all-purpose fall. So you can see there's little pumpkins, and it's on a chocolatey brown fabric. And for the lining, I got this, just cream with white pumpkins on it. So I think that'll look nice on the inside. And then for the handles, I got this orange ribbon with a little white pretend stitching. It's a faux stitching. It's not actual real stitching. It's like puff paint on it. So I've got a spool of that, so I'll be able to use that for my R2-D2 bag and my fall themed bag. And then Megwin saw this fabric and she was like, it's beautiful. I want to have that for my Christmas skirt. It's crazy, guys. It's Crazy Cat's unpoinsettia fabric. This reminds me of what, like, you would see, like, for my grandma's tablecloth. My grandmother would have loved this fabric. This is, like, something that would have been right up her alley. So, Megwin is channeling my grandmother, I suppose. But it'll be a cute Christmas skirt. The only problem is I wanted her to wear the So Faded pint-sized for a Christmas picture, and this so is not going to go with that sweater, but she makes some pretty amazing outfits. She's very bold in her fashion choices, so she probably won't care. And that's okay. Alright, and then some yarn came in that I ordered a while ago. I mentioned this a couple of podcasts back for the Labor Day sale. I'm going to go ahead and take this out, so I'm going to put it away later. I'm going to steal my children's shelving unit for more yarn. They don't ever put their toys away in it anyway, so I may as well use it for something. Labor Day weekend, Shannon from the Yarn at Home Mom had a Labor Day sale. It basically ended up being, I think it was 20% off, but it essentially made my shipping be free. So I ordered a wholesale order because she was still doing those. She has since discontinued doing those, but it was a great, amazing deal for hand-dyed yarn. So I got a sweater quantity of the Dragonfly in colorway, and I am just so in love with this color. It is beautiful. It has so much depth to it, but it's a gorgeous neutral. So I think what I'm going to do with this is a featherweight, because I've never knit a featherweight. I started one in lace weight and I didn't like it. This is fingering weight, so it's on her shimmer base. But I think this would make an amazing featherweight cardigan, and it would go with everything. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So here it is. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? Oh, this is Bagels. Look at those Bagels. Look at them. Oh my gosh. So gorgeous. So sparkly. Her shimmer is just what it says. It's a shimmer, so it's a very subtle sparkle. There you go. So it's on this kind of gray taupe base, and then it just has all of those amazing speckles on it. Isn't that going to make the most beautiful cardigan ever? Ever. I'm so happy. So thank you, Shannon, for making such beautiful yarn. And she wrote me a really sweet note in my order. So thank you. So that is my Yarn at Home Mom sweater quantity of Dragonfly in. Get this color, guys. Go get it. It's beautiful. And then also my Gilmore Girls club skein came from her. So I've now got two of them. The first one was What's Danish Without Coffee, and the second one is the one that I have right now. So this one is from season 6, episode 7. So this is when Rory turned 21. It has a bunch of funny quotes from the episode on it. It's really cute how she does it. So this one is called 21 is the Loneliest Number. It's on the basic fingering base, so this one is not sparkly. And it is on a cream color background, and then it has gold, hot pink, and black on it. It's really gorgeous. And each of them also comes with a stitch marker. So this was another one from Little Bitty Delights. My one for last time was a Danish. And this one is a tiny margarita glass, which doesn't want to come out of here because the salt is stuck on the on the fuzz in the box. I have to get all that fuzz off there. It came in a little box. But I love it. The attention to detail is amazing. So it's a glowing pink, and then it has a tiny salt rim. It does not want to focus. Oh, it's so cute. That's my stitch marker to go with it. So I love it. I've been having a lot of fun with my clubs that I signed up for that are themed. You know, I had my Twin Steaks. I had the Gilmore Girls ones from Adelaide Cottage and from the Yarn at Home Mom. So I'm going to have so much Gilmore Girls yarn. It's going to be crazy. And I'm actually rewatching Gilmore Girls just because it's such an awesome show. And I'm getting all this yarn, so it's helping me be inspired. So yeah. So that is my yarn. I'm really trying also to update my stash on Ravelry. So you'll start, if you are friends with me on Ravelry, you'll start to see a whole bunch of stuff showing up in my stash. It does not mean that I just went out and bought a ridiculous amount of yarn. I'm just trying to actually catalog what I have. So that is that. And then this came... I had it last episode, but I couldn't find it. Again, it was on my husband's desk because he had taken away from Joshua. So my last mini skein bundle from my the Rando Mini Skein Club from No Makers had come, and it is based on a traveler theme. So this one has some of her new colorways: Mount Hood, Park Ranger, The Best Hot Chocolate, Eggs, and Pluto. So all of the ones except for Eggs are actually new colors. And I think this one is the one that came with like little fold out binoculars. The kids had a lot of fun with those. I'm going to show you these, and then one of them is actually going to go in my Give 'em bag. Okay, so this one is the Mount Hood. They've gotten out of order. Okay. Mount Hood, Park Ranger, The Best Hot Chocolate, Eggs. This one's on Sparkle. And Pluto. Eventually, I want to do a So Faded out of all of the planets in the solar system set that Amanda's kind of working through. So I have a third rock from the sun, but that one is actually with the alpaca in it. So once she completes designing them, and no rush, Amanda, I love your work and you take as long as you need, sweetie. Once she's finished creating all of them, then I will buy them and I will make a sweater out of them. So she's done the sun, third rock from the sun, Mars, Neptune, and Pluto. So still to go, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, and Uranus. She may have done Uranus. She may have. So she might just have the big guys and Mercury and Venus yet to go. So it's getting close. It's getting close, and I think it'll be really cool. I love things that are themed, that kind of go together. So I'm going to put this one in my Gibbum bag because it's sparkly, so it's going to go in there first. And if I have leftover, which I usually do, it'll go in my, also in my Beekeeper's Quilt. So the rest of these will go in Beekeeper's Quilt. And I've kind of been pondering a Cozy Memories blanket. I know. Hypocrite, thy name is Nina. But when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? The 10-stitch blanket actually has a lot of ends to weave in too. So what am I so afraid of? It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I have to weave in some ends. Blah, whatever. Get over yourself, Nina. It'll be fine. All right. And then also in my David's Tea wanderings yesterday, I picked up this guy. Oh, so cute. It's a little sheepy pouch. It says David's Tea on it. It's kind of a canvasy fabric, but it's very, I would say, very light canvas. And then it comes with 5 tea sachets from their Harvest collection. But I want to use it for a little Notions pouch, and I actually picked up another one for a friend, so I'm going to send that along to them in a little package, which I haven't finished putting together yet. But again, that's what I'm going to do today, is get all the stuff out I've been wanting to. And then randomly, I was putting away... Oh wait, no. Let's finish the tea stuff. Alright. So also, because I bought a bunch of stuff yesterday at David's Tea, I had to stock up on a lot of things. And they are discontinuing mint chocolate rooibos, which is my ultimate favorite flavor ever. So I got a whole tin of that. But because I bought stuff, they gave me a free mug. So I had a choice of their standard David's Tea mug or this super cute Halloween one. And I mean, was that even a choice? Super cute Halloween one. So Joshua's been drinking out of this one because he fell in love with the monsters. He's like, "Eat monster." So he's been making me make him tea and put it in here. I got a free, they filled it up with the Magic Potion tea, which I highly recommend. It was really good. So it's just a reusable teacup. I think the ghosts might glow in the dark, but I'm not sure if this one does that. A lot of their ghost stuff glows in the dark. And then I also found at Joann's for like 50 cents this little coffee sleeve. It's made of felt. This is a Starbucks cup. We use these for camping. They're plastic. I think they were selling them for like $1.50 at one point, and they have a plastic lid. But you know what your size is going to be. You can take it with you to coffee shops and they'll be able to make the size for you. No big deal. It actually has a graduation in there for if you want to do a smaller size too. This is a medium, but it has the markings to be able to do a small if you want to do a lesser size. And it works really well, the sleeve. It keeps it fairly cool. So I like that it said drink coffee and make things. So I may try to find another one that's not crafting themed to throw in our camping stuff too. Okay, so last thing, I was putting away yarn the other day and I noticed that my Happy Camper and my Log Lady were next to each other, and I really liked them together. So this is Log Lady from the Twin Steaks Yarn Club. I briefly showed it last week, but I feel like I didn't really give it its due because it's the Log Lady. My log will have something to say about this later. She's like my favorite character in Twin Peaks. I love her, the Log Lady. And then this one is Happy Camper, which I think I waxed poetic about previously. So then I was like, wow, those two look really good together. What else would go with them to make like a stripy sweater? And I thought about this. This one is Kickin' Leaves from No Makers. It is in the Sparkle Gnome. So it's sparkly. But it has those nice cream colors. Lots of great fall leaf colors. So I thought, what if I did like a stripe of Log Lady, a stripe of Happy Camper, a stripe of this, stripe of Happy Camper. You know, this would be my divider between these two, but we've got all those kind of fall themed colors going on, and I think the Happy Camper kind of ties them together. That would also satisfy that I didn't really want to put this into socks. I wanted it to be something more special. So they're all different bases. This one is her Footsie base. This one is her Volca base. So Footsie has BFL and nylon. Volca is nylon, cashmere, merino. And Sparkle Gnome is merino, nylon, and Sparkle Power. But I don't mind mixing bases at all. I don't really have a problem with it, and I think that for the most part, it doesn't really affect my gauge. Where it could potentially is if I'm doing applied in a singles, like in my Oracle shawl. My part that was done in the singles was markedly different than the other ones, but that's okay because it was a shawl. If I was doing a sweater, I don't think I would do that, but I typically would not knit a sweater out of a mix like that. I wouldn't say I would never knit it out of a singles base because I certainly have. My French Toast yarn was a singles base. So I don't have a problem with doing that, but I think mixing them would be a little difficult. But as long as they're plied yarns, for the most part, I feel like they're totally fine. So that has to happen at some point soon, because I think that'd be great as a nice stripy sweater. Maybe another honey pullover, because I really like my honey pullover. I've been wearing it now because it's starting to get a little bit cooler. So I've been enjoying wearing that to work. And I think on Monday it's supposed to be a high of 59 and a low of 39. So that would be like 15 degrees Celsius for a high, which is more like worsted weight sweater weather. I heard a car, but it's not them. So I think I will try to work in all my ends on my French Toast so I can wear it to work on Monday, because that would be really fun. And I'm really excited to wear that sweater. It turned out so pretty. Other stuff. I need to draw for the color blender wrap. So I will stop the video. I'm going to draw for that. I'll come back and announce it, and then that will be it for this week. So if you did not enter for the color blender wrap giveaway, then I will leave you here, and hopefully I will see you in 2 weeks instead of 3 weeks, because that was way too long. And I had obviously a ton of stuff to show you if I wait for 3 weeks. So I will stop now and go and draw for the color blender wrap, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, guys. So I drew for the winner, and it was post 2 through 7, and the winner was post number 5, who is DG Lover 28. So I will get in touch with Mina and let her know that you won, and she will gift the pattern to you. So congratulations, Andrea, on winning the Color Blender wrap and scarf giveaway. And thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate all of you. I love seeing your comments on Instagram and Pinterest, and if I don't get to comment back, it doesn't mean that I don't see them. It just means I'm either too busy or yeah, just didn't have time to write individual responses. But until next time, take care and spend some time doing the things you love, and I will see you in 2 weeks.